Well, that was kind of a fun way to start a video. What you were looking at was a courtroom inside of a historic courthouse called the $1 Million Courthouse, here in a little town called Pioche, Nevada. And we'll get to that courthouse in a little bit. But first, this little town, it's located 180 miles northeast of Las Vegas, hanging on the side of a mountain in Nevada's high desert. Pioche is an old town by Western standards, with many of the buildings predating the turn of the 19th century. They're far enough from the beaten track to escape the commercialism that has plagued many of these tourist towns. But they actually have quite a bit to look at. We're going to take a look at one of their museums downtown, along with showing you campgrounds to stay at in this little town. If you turn right, oh, hang on, we just missed the turn. Go around the pole. If you turn right at the new courthouse right there, this nice little town has a little campground for 10 spots that is free camping. Now, they don't have electrical hookups, but they do have water. And we stayed right here on the right. There is another campground on the other end of town that does have full hookups if you want to stop and visit here and have a camper. And this little town has a small downtown, I guess you call it Main Street. That's what it is. It's a main street with some of the old Western looking storefronts. So we're going to park over here and go take a look at this museum. I was fascinated by that camera. Isn't that something? And like all museums, all of this stuff has been donated. So on the one side, they have all your antique type furniture, a display of what life was like back in the day. Can you imagine? You have the phonograph to listen to and sit there and talk to each other. But what I really liked about these museums are the collection of rocks that they have. And they're not just ordinary rocks. Like this one, you can see the silver in it. We just met the nicest lady that works at the museum, telling us the history of this place and how it used to be really booming with tourism, but a lot of the stores are closed because the mining has stopped. So the person working there, she was telling us this place is still booming with tourism. They come out here, and actually a lot of people are buying and building homes in this little area also, that they just live here in the winter months. But back in the day, it was silver, gold, copper, and a lot of different ones. All these rocks have a name. And I can't imagine that they just were all from this area. Now back behind this curtain, these are rocks that are actually glow in the dark. So as soon as you turn the light off, then you can see some of the colors that are... I mean, I'm a rock collector. I like to go around, and it would be awesome to be able to find a few of these to add to the collection. Now we're going to take a look at this courthouse they call the $1 Million Courthouse. And that's where some of the locals made the mannequins, I guess you would call them, that we saw at the beginning of the video. Which adds a little extra to this walk through this museum. Oh, there's so much here, from lots and lots of law books. And they have a rock collection over on this one also. You got to use a flashlight because they keep it in a case, but it really brings out the sparkles. Yep, that's gold in the background. So let me explain a little bit why they call it the $1 Million Courthouse. It all started in the 60s and 70s when this was a booming area because of the silver mining. And of course, with the population growing and money to be made, all sorts of folks started moving to the area. And besides just having a bank, they needed a courthouse. So they started with a budget of $26,000. But I guess back then, if you compared it to nowadays, that would have been $16 million. Well, things didn't work out, and the budget ended up going quadruple, like to $88,000. But then all of a sudden the mining was over and the people started to leave. And then they just quit making payments on the building because nobody was there. Nobody was using it. And by the time they actually paid it off, which was 65 years after they built it, with the interest, it was just shy of $1 million. So if you're ever looking to visit a quaint little western town, come on out to Nevada and look up Pioche. Alright, so that's all for this video. If you want to join me next week, we're going to take a ride up Highland Peak, which sits at almost 10,000 feet elevation. It is a knuckle gripper, if you want to call it that, as you drive up to the top, because the roads are pretty narrow. And as often the case, at the top, some tower builders have co-opted the summit for their artwork, which isn't really artwork. It means there's towers at the top, high voltage, and really high wind. You don't want to stay up there too long. And that also means it's a dirt service road. So it's very rocky and you probably want four-wheel drive. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and as always, I hope to see you next time on Adventures Outdoors.